Help me welcome Jay Garcia.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Should we call him El Presidente?
We'll be doing a 20-minute speech.
Yes.
Okay, in 10 minutes, I'll show you the green card.
Got it.
In 5 minutes left, I'll show you the yellow card.
Okay.
And when 3 minutes is left, I'll show you the red card. Okay?
We got it. Awesome. Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
How are we doing? We doing great?
Great.
Wonderful. It's been an honor to be here and to be able to share this series on 90 days to becoming a whole new you. And it's really inevitable that you have become a whole new you because you never stay the same. You're either growing or you're dying. That's a very common thing that people know. So my question to you is, whether you've been here for the series or not, what has taken place in the last 90 days? And what will take place in the next 90 days? Is there going to be a difference? And in that difference, will there be a move forward or a move backwards or a stagnation? Now, whether you've been here for the series or not is irrelevant at this point. I've gone over some various techniques and some strategies. However, I'm sure that most of you have been in something similar at some point in your life before. We've gone to seminars, we've gone to workshops, we've read books, we've gone through all the different paths with that quest to become different and to change in some extraordinary way, and yet it is very possible that we find ourselves here once again embarking upon the opportunity to watch a time come, go, pass, and yet somehow remain pretty much the same. I'm wondering if you have ever thought to yourself, why is it that that happens to me? There's something missing. There's one element that I just can't put my finger on. There's one reason why I seem to always stay there. It's not that everybody does, because I see other people move forward in life. I see other people do big things. So when is that going to be happening for me? It's my goal tonight to help you flip the switch. That one thing that's holding you back, the one thing that holds me back often, that I need to challenge myself. And it is this. Are you ready for it? Mm-hmm. The fear of failure. It's really what it is. It's that fear of failure. It's what holds you back. It prevents you from moving forward. You have every intention of moving forward. You agree. You shake your head. You say, that's it, that's it, that's it. And yet you go home, and after that warm bath feeling and the fuzziness is over, somehow tomorrow, things don't change. It's that fear of failure. So I'm going to talk about 3 things this evening. 3 keys to overcoming that fear of failure. Here we go. Number 1. Refuse to settle for missing out because of your fear. Refuse to settle for missing out because of your fear. You've got to focus on what it is you want and how it's going to be if you don't get it. Now, I'm going to use a very simple illustration back from my childhood. I was about 17 years of age, and I went with a youth group up to an area called Crestline in the San Bernardino Mountains. Anyone familiar with it? A little below Lake Arrowhead, and then above that is Big Bear. And there's a lake there. It's called Lake Gregory. And at Lake Gregory, there was a water slide, a really cool water slide. Now, I was kind of a sheltered child. I had never gone on a water slide before. And I was a little bit of a big chicken, too, I'll admit. And although I could swim, that wasn't the problem. I wasn't exactly ever what you would call a daredevil by any means. Even when I tried to climb a tree at the park as a kid, I kind of swung and smacked my chin right on the bark, and that was the end of that. I just really, when it came to coordinated type of things like that, it was just never really my thing. And everybody in the group was going down this water slide, and it looked really awesome. I mean, you kind of got in there, and they had these mats that you laid on, and some were going like head first, and they were just going down. And I thought, man, I'd really like to do the water slide, but I'm afraid. I mean, I've never been on a water slide before, and what's going to happen when I go down? It was such a mystery to me. It was the fear of the unknown, and I just had these visions this fear of failure, even though other people were doing it, I had these visions of going down somehow, flying out of the water slide somehow. I don't know how it happened, but that's the vision that I had. Somehow the ambulance was going to have to come and cart me off to the hospital, and everyone was going to be laughing at me and going, wow, I can't even go down a water slide. And that's what I allowed to get the picture in my head. And so I stood there while everyone else went. And they went down, and they went down, one after another, and they come back up with a big excited look on their face, and they go down again, and they come back up, and of course every once in a while the question inevitably would come up, aren't you going to go? Oh, I'm just kind of taking it in, I just want to see, how you guys are doing it, all this kind of stuff, and I'm sitting there going inside, no. But I had to get over that fear, and I thought, this is going to be a long 4 hours standing here watching everybody going down this water slide and never experiencing what everyone else seems to be able to do except for me. Your fears of failure often are very irrational, aren't they? Somehow we get in our head that everyone else can do something, but we can't. Why would that be true? Why would that be true? So finally I had to work through this process, and I thought to myself, all right, it's more painful to stand here for 4 hours than it is to take the risk and go down the water slide. So after I watched people go 3, 4, 5 times, even the uncoordinated ones, and somehow they didn't die, somehow the ambulance didn't come for them, I finally looked up to the heavens, grabbed onto the little mat with dear life, and I went down for the first time. And I got to tell you, I fell in love with that water slide. It was so awesome. In fact, I went again and again and again, and the next year I went back on purpose to go again, and I was flying down that water slide. In fact, your whole body would lift and smack down, and I didn't even realize how much fun I was having until I was so sore the next day, and I couldn't figure out why. And it was awesome, and so I transferred that into parts of my life and said, wow, I would have missed out because of my fear of failure. And there's so much out there that's waiting for you that you're supposed to be doing, and so many great things to accomplish, and that fear of failure is going to rob you of it. You've got to get past that. Number 2, how do you get past the fear of failure? Here it is. Lock yourself in where you have to do it. Another water slide story for you. Fast forward 10 years. I'm in Raging Waters in San Dimas. I'm there with another youth group, but I'm older now. I'm leading this youth group. I'm not a kid anymore. And they have this water slide they used to have, I'm not sure if they still do, it's called Dropout. And it's this big old huge several story high thing, and it goes pretty much straight down. So I'm in line with my fellow youth worker, and there we are in line, and we're waiting, and we get up to the top, and we're there, and there's like 4 people in front of us, and we're getting scared. I mean, this thing is straight down. And so I look at him, and he looks at me, and I said, you want to bail? And he said, yes, let's get out of here. So we turn around, and as we turn around and start to bail, up come 3 members of our youth group right there going, hey, where are you guys going? And we're like, nowhere. We're there. See, we couldn't possibly run and hide and turn the other way and ever live it down with them seeing us, right? So you got to lock yourself in somehow. Next week, next Monday, I'm doing something, maybe you've heard of it. They're putting on Facebook right now. It's called the Camp Transformation Center. Maybe you haven't noticed, but I could probably use to lose a few pounds. I want to lose 40 pounds. And I've been saying for the last 3 years how I'm going to lose weight. And whenever I lose it, I seem to find it and then some right again. Many of you have experienced that, correct? And so my son had a brilliant idea. He had some money that was put aside for a trip that we're going to take. And he said, Dad, I'm signing you up. Let's go. And this is the way the program works. It's 6 weeks. You have to go to 30 workouts. and you have to lose at least 20 pounds. It's $500. If you lose the 20 pounds and do at least the 30 workouts, they give you the $500 back. If you don't, you lose it. My response after we sign up and we walk out of there, and I don't like classes where they tell you what to do for an hour. It's like it's never been my thing. But my son says, so you think you're going to lose the 20 pounds? I said, for $500, I will lose the 20 pounds. I'll find a way. You got to lock yourself in sometimes. You got to put yourself in a position where it's not so easy to waffle out. So whether it's peer pressure, whether it's money, whatever it is that has value to you, you've got to put yourself in that spot so that you will not fail. You'll make yourself do it. Third one. And final one. And that is this. Will you make a decision? A strong, hard decision that says this: I will either succeed or die trying. Will you allow something to become that important to you? To drive that much? See, so many people are just willing to settle. I'll just settle. So when Jose talks about becoming president of his country, the youngest president of the country, what is it that the critics are likely to say? Pipe dream. Yeah, right. But I'll tell you why I wouldn't bet against him. I'll tell you why. Because he focuses. And he puts something in his head and he goes after it and he refuses to settle. Now, are there other people out there that could beat him out for the position? Of course. But I'm not so sure they'll be as focused as he is. See, that's the difference. And whatever it is that new you, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, whatever it is there an out clause for you? Or will you pursue it even if it kills you? Because it matters that much that if you came up short and stopped, it will be as if you didn't really live. In Think and Grow Rich, very famous story of the man who bought and was panning for what? Gold. Most of you know the story. Dug and dug and dug and dug and dug. It all dried up. He couldn't find it. He knew it was there, but he never could just get there. And finally, he gave up. And it was found 3 feet from where he stopped. We don't really know. He could have been 3 feet away several times in different directions. But he stopped. To stop is to fail automatically. To stop short is to basically throw up the white flag. It's to surrender. It's to say it will never happen. I'd rather try and try and try and try and fail and fail and fail than to not try and fail automatically by default. For your children, for whoever looks up to you, for your family, whoever it is, may it be said of you at the end of your life, even if you don't accomplish everything that you wanted to, may they say they never gave up. They always pursued. May it be never said of you that you were a quitter, that you settled. Because it's true. And they mentioned John Maxwell tonight. I love John Maxwell. It is true that they will use one sentence usually to define you after you die. And you get to choose that sentence now, while you live. So I would encourage you tonight to go after those dreams, to not allow the fear of failure to slow you down. In fact, Thomas Edison would never have discovered electricity if he did not fail and fail and fail and fail again. We need to learn to embrace failure, to love it, to say, yes, that's another way that didn't work. That's one way I don't have to try again. That's another person that wasn't the person. That's another direction that was not the right strategy. I'm one step closer, one step closer, one step closer every single day. I'm narrowing it down. If I'm looking for a needle in a haystack, let me take as much hay and sort through it every day, because eventually I'm going to find that needle. Am I right?
Right. Yep.
That belief will serve you and allow you to become a new you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Woo! We would like to, this is the moment for any questions and answers or comment that you have about Jay's professional presentation. If you do, raise your hand and pose your question.
You had 3 points, and I didn't have a pen before
Okay.
you did the first point, and I couldn't remember what it was.
The first point was to refuse to allow your fears to cause you to miss out. And I used the water slide example. Yes, sir.
So did you go down the slide at Raging Waters?
I did go down the slide. And it's amazing how that 1 or 2 seconds going down, I was wondering, wow, am I ever going to feel the slide? But then all of a sudden, boom, you feel it when you get down to the bottom. Actually, the worst part of that slide is not the drop. It's being flat on your back and skidding along at the bottom.
Oh.
And then your bathing suit fills up and everybody's looking at you. That's the problem. Yes, sir.
So the example that you gave, several examples, were both physical examples, physical activity.
Mm-hmm.
So this also works then if you've got a mediocre marriage and you want a damn good marriage, that would work equally well in that, if you had those 3 points that you...
If you have that determination, marriage is a very good example, because often it's the fear of, well, if I express my feelings, it won't be accepted. If I admit I'm wrong, what will happen? There's really ridiculous fears when it comes to marriage that we won't deal with. Pride, you name it. But yes, I would say those same types of processes, sometimes just being loving, accepting, forgiving, whatever it is more scary than a water slide.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad, but it's true.
Okay.
Good question.
Comment.
Yes.
Enjoyed very much.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
More questions and comments for Jay? Okay. And yes, come here, Jay. Yes. We have something for you. Okay. We have something for you, something special.
Okay.
So Jay completed a 6-part series.
Yes.
In the Toastmasters program, when we start, we complete our first 10 projects. Jay completed it. Once you complete your first 10 projects, then you can work on, there are 15 different advanced manuals that you can work on. And those manuals include the professional speaker, the discussion manual, and those are manuals that Jay have completed before. And I just want to make the acknowledgement that because of his speaking, our club has earned more than 2 educational awards. So I just want to, let's give a round of applause to Jay. Amazing accomplishment. And now we would like to make an encouragement as well, that he also joined us on the leadership of the club. So the leadership component is another component of the club. And one of the gifts that we have for Jay is the club leadership handbook. And I know that he expressed his interest that he wants to help us with membership. And this is the manual. This is kind of like the Bible that will help you to become the best vice president of membership for this club. And would you accept the challenge?
Remember that part we were talking about when you were put in a position where you're absolutely, of course. Thank you.
Wow, yeah! It's for you. And we would like to acknowledge you. We have this is actually a 3-hour course on speed reading.
Okay.
So you will learn how to read a book in a day.
Is it Evelyn?
Yeah, by Evelyn Wood. Yeah,
It doesn't look like Evelyn Wood.
Evelyn, right.
The
So.
president.
El Presidente, yes.
So we would like to, it's a token of appreciation
Okay.
for completing 2 6-part series. That's equivalent. Oh my goodness! This is actually professional speaking. That's what he does, and he has represented this club so well outside our club. He's speaking to hundreds of youth, and you're making a great presentation. I think that you can be the best VP of membership for this club. So congratulations!
All right.
Good for you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Woo! Thank you.
Thank you.